Hi there, my name is Jenny Penton, founder of Planner Perfect, and I coach women how to write a better story for their lives. And in today's video, we're going to continue on with the March series, Life Scripted. Today's topic, why small things matter. Stay tuned. Welcome back, girls. I'm excited to be here for a little bit with you today. Again, to inspire you to be all God has created you to be. To me, it's really fundamental in my method and in my planning and structure and system that women are growing. They are going through the journey with understanding who they are so they can be who God called them to be. So let's go ahead and dive in about why small things matter. I do have my jade. I have some notes. We're going to go ahead and go through them. And we're going to talk about why small things matter. I've talked about this many times. So here we go. Number one, what I want to talk about is Life Scripted. Why I wanted to do it again this spring is because really it's new beginnings. I love seasons because there's a season for everything. And this season I really wanted to talk about it again and again and again about it's a new fresh season. Let's talk about how scripting will change your life. What is scripting? Scripting has been around for a while, but I've always been doing it before I even knew that scripting was a thing. And all that means is that you're writing your life down in detail, and you're taking note of every aspect of your life, and you're being really introspective, and you're seeing what works, what doesn't work, and how you can always improve. So one of the big things is that with the method is that you're caring for the small things, the details, because the small things matter. In Luke 16:10, it says, whoever can be trusted with the small things can also be trusted with the big things. Can I get an amen on that? I think, and I've always said this too, motherhood is a really good platform. It's a really good platform because, it seems sometimes we can feel like we're not seen. We're behind the scenes constantly. It can be very tiring. It's also very most beautiful job that we can have. But a lot of times, with all this work, there's not much light to be shown on us. But this is where the work is when there is no spotlight. How do we handle the everyday? So whether we're home or we're in the job and working maybe outside the home, it's how we handle our everyday that truly matters. If we can handle the little things, we can handle the big things. Being able to handle when things get a little rough is the test, and what God is really looking at. So when we begin to dream big and we start to script our plans, this is when the tests come. So now we're praying for our desires. We're giving God what's in our hearts, and we come to Him, and then the test begins because He cares about our character more than anything. Because when we're given bigger things, we have to be able to handle bigger challenges that come with them. But there's also challenges, and the test comes whether you're a mom or not. Some women say, she's got a lot of kids and she's busy and I just can't relate. But honestly, the method and how you plan your life and how you live your life applies to all. And whether you are in a stage where you think that you don't have much going on, or you're working outside the home and you don't have any children at all, the message is still the same. How you are living your life and the intentions you set, big and small, are what matter. The small things matter. How you decide to wake up in the morning and spend your time, the exercise that you intend to do, the breakfast you intend to eat, the devotions you plan to have, the interactions with others you plan to have, the executions of the thing desired is there too that you need to do and to think about. It's celebrating someone else. There's so much, and each one of us have different things that are allowed and presented into our lives, and it's what we do with them that matter. It's setting a standard. It's how your standard is. I see a lot of moms collapse under motherhood. Is it hard? Yes. Do we need help? Of course. All of those things. But it's what we do with the scenario that God's watching. And, it's about how, and really it comes from the mind and how we perceive it and our perception and what, our belief surrounding it that truly matters on how everything is going to be planning out. To care for the small things is what matters. It is truly what matters. It's how you're living. It's how you're folding your family's towels. It's how you're feeding your body. It's how you're taking care of it. It's how you care enough about yourself to get dressed, to do your hair, lightly, swiftly, and easily, but showing attention to detail, that you care about everything that's in your realm, that's in your corner, that God's given to you to do and to control and to have, that you care about it. And that's why the planner and the method is there for you, and it works because you are allowed each day to create a fresh start. His mercies are new every morning. If things are not working, you can give them to God and he'll guide you on the way to change it, to maybe you need to remove some things, choreograph some things, maybe even just comes down to thinking differently about some things. But this is all a character journey. It's a life planner that creates change in you, yourself, and your character, which then in turn changes your world. So then your world begins to grow and you're given more and you're given more responsibility. Bigger dreams start to unfold. Things that God will just pour out and rain on top of you as you go through life, really passing tests. If we're struggling in a certain area, and number one, giving it to him in prayer is the first step. And then he guides you and shows you how. We can't crumble over everything. And we can't say, well, I'll wait to be great till, this happens. Or I'll wait to be great when then I'll get dressed and look presentable when I have someone to look presentable for. You want to make sure that the small things matter, and your standard is the same when it was small as well as when you become bigger. And that's why the small things matter, girls. All of these things can always be improved upon. The journey is never done. And, when things do go wrong, after a while, we just got to learn to get over it. We have to learn to be able to handle the pressure. We need to learn to communicate under pressure. We need to learn to love under pressure. And we need to learn to handle the small things. And when no one's looking. And that's what really God has shown me over all of these years. It wasn't, why me, but why not? And a lot of time, God is just getting you ready. God is getting you ready. So don't collapse under all of the things that are going on and waiting to be great and not writing anything down to do because what does it matter? Nothing's great happening anyway. There is much things to be grateful for and to level up on. I'm always into the extra. I'm into the level up the ordinary, level up the mundane, level up the everyday. You level it up. Don't just go to work and bring a sack lunch. Bring it in something classy and bring some extras for your friends. It's gourmet. You know what I mean? When you're going to have a friend over for lunch, you're not just going to do any lunch and maybe serve it on a plastic plate or plastic. You're going to serve her the best you've got with the finest of plates and silver, because life is to be beautiful and elevated. It's putting a spotlight on all of God's glory and splendor, and to be celebrating life and what he's given us. When we don't care to the details, we're not caring for what matters. And our standards dropped. It shows a level of where your standard is. Level it up. Whatever you do, do it good. Do it well. Don't do a billion things because you can't do it well. Pick your chosen great things and do it well. I've learned, a homeschooling mom of 8, I've learned halfway through, I was like, we're done running around like a chicken with our head cut off to all these activities, never eating dinner together. For what? And I cut all of it down so that there was one thing that they could do and see and focus on and see if they loved it, and we can pursue that rather than them being in several different things and we're running around crazy and they're only doing it haphazard anyway and no one's living great. And that just goes with everything that we do in our lives. If you've got too much on your plate, you're going to have to let some of those things go and pick them up later, or let them go completely. Always reevaluating where you're at, always reevaluating what's going on in your life. Introspective is king. Are you communicating well to the people that you love? Are you giving things to God that you should be doing, which is everything? Are you handing that over? Are you listening to the direction of where God wants you? Are you obeying where God tells you to go? Are you loving the way you should be loving? Are you caring for your home fully the way you should be caring for the home fully? When you script, those are your standards. Those are your intentions. Your intentions are showing your standard. That's why when you're writing, you're like, you can feel it. If you're living to your full potential, you can feel it. And you will script accordingly. I love also in Zechariah 4:10, do not despise these small beginnings. If you're in a place where, even if you're a mom of young ones, or if you're kind of, in a place where you feel like, you're living small, don't despise these small beginnings, because it's from the small beginnings that great things are born and big things are born. And so these are the things we care about. And this is the test. These are the tests. And when we don't pass them, we literally relive them in a different flavor until we do. And I can contest to this wholeheartedly 100%. Wholeheartedly 100%. When I began to quit researching things and feeling like I was on my own and that God was far away and wouldn't be able to handle this, when I gave that up, and when I gave it up for good, God showed up in a big way, because he can't come in when you got your hand on it. You got to let go, because if you don't let go, then you've got it and there's no faith. So you bring things from eternity to here through faith. And if you don't have it, and your faith is showing when you are worried and stressed and working on things and hands-on and not giving it to God because you don't think he's got it, then you can't bring the 100,000 times better that he's got for you in a quicker time than you could ever done it if you don't. So you've got to get your hand off and release it. You don't want to keep circling. I heard this once from John Hagee, where he said, you just keep marching around Mount Sinai, forever until you get that lesson. And you do need to release it and give it to God, and God will show you, guide you what's next for you. And you just need to be obedient, and you need to be steadfast in those small things, and God is all about timing. So everything has its time. There's a time for planting, and a time for harvest, a time for joy, and a time for mourning. There's a time, and God's timing is always perfect, and we can't doubt it. Even though we may not be feeling really comfortable in the wait, it's coming. I want you to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I want you to take challenges on, and know that God's ultimately in control and has got you. Don't buckle under it. Lean into it. I've always been into lean into those things that bug you the most. Just lean on in. Quit running away. Quit just giving up. Giving up is when a poor mom gives up on the way she looks, gives up on her purpose, gives up on everything. She just doesn't care anymore because it's beaten her. The small things matter. And when you change your perspective on that, you will see all the beauty in those small things. And it just takes that slight shift of perspective and beginning to script on how you see yourself and how you want to, what time you want to rise and why, and what coffee you want to drink and when, and your breakfast and how you want to care for your body, and how you're going to care for the ones that you love, to how you can elevate all of those things that are in your world right now. That is what you are given to handle and to cultivate. Those have to be handled. The things that are with you now, that are in your domain, are the things that is your domain. That is where you cultivate that. That is your what's your standard? What is your standard on those things? And the beauty of Life Scripted is that it allows you to take a look at your life and to level up on the everyday, or getting joy and excitement from kneading your own dough or rolling out crackers. And it doesn't have to be that, but it's such an essential part to everyday living. You know, some women can poo-poo cooking. I don't cook, or I don't do that, but we all have to eat. I think it's important that when you do, you know, not everybody has the time to do it, but once in a while, you know, get in touch with your food and make it from scratch. Those little attention to details that not only then creates momentum. There's something about when you think about all of the different things that are going wrong in your life. If you were to take a pen and paper and write all those down, if you fixed just one thing, then the domino effect happens. It's called momentum. And so it's like, you know, you begin to tackle all those other things by just topping over that first one. Because if you're like, you know, for the first time, I'm going to care about getting up, and I'm going to care about, you know, my lunch today, or I'm going to care about how I feed the babies this morning. I'm going to be on top of menus this time. I'm going to care about all of it like it's no tomorrow, like it's everything to me. Menu planning, let's go. You know, and it seems so small, but it's huge. Do it with excellence. It's going to your job with a huge smile on your face and being an inspiration just by your vibe. It's being happy, and it's being joyful. It's just being joyful from within. It's caring. It's setting a standard. It's a standard of life. The Planner Perfect method and the planning method of using these planners is like no other. Girls, I hope that that's been inspiring to you, to take a look at your life and to look at those small things that are going on. And maybe you're in a place right now where you feel like you're just in a, you know, you're in a meh stage or whatever, but exactly where you are is exactly where you should be. Where you are is where you should be. And where you are is where you level it up, and you create a standard around it of excellence. All of those small things, all the everyday of what some may think is the mundane, that exactly is what matters. Happy planning, and until next time, we're together.